for the people who know that they're here to trigger, to catalyze, who have a intense relationship with their inner world. They are very self-aware, yet they also realize the effect that they have on others. Maybe you're the black sheep, maybe you stood out from society, maybe you find the collective energy in the world very overwhelming at times. And basically, if you serve as a clear mirror for people, so if you help people process their own emotions, and have been known to go to those dark places inside yourself, you have an awareness of dark and light and balancing them, an awareness of a shadow side. You maybe have more accountability in relationships, more of an expansive inner world. So this is for you guys. I'm going to speak to you, and maybe some of the pain you've experienced with rejection, or people giving up on you, people ghosting you, people discarding you, people dumping their anger on you throughout your life, and maybe not fitting into groups or families or friends or workplaces or communities as well, because even some people turn against you because you have a very unique energy signature. So this episode will be on YouTube, so you can look on the video there. I'm filming it outside right now, so there's a nice background, and so there might be a little bit of birds or people in the background, but it's a really nice day, so I wanted to. So really what I want to say here is that what I've learned over my life, having this energy signature that I do, I like to go deep, I like to trigger, I like to catalyze, I like to stir things up. It's really an open-hearted energy and a expansiveness that triggers people. Authenticity triggers people, and being in your power, and as you go deeper and heal yourself and confront your wounds, confront your traumas, it becomes more and more intense. So you might have the feeling that you outgrow people very fast. Like you can't, like there's friends that are in your life for a reason and a season, or relationships, but then eventually you reach a cap, you reach a limit, and you can't go any further, or they don't want to join you on the path, or you feel like you're asking for too much. You feel like you are too much. Maybe you even thought like that you were crazy throughout your life. So this effect of being a clear mirror, and that does not mean you're perfect. That does not mean so this effect of being a clear mirror, it does not mean that you're perfect. It does not mean that you don't have your own issues, hang-ups. Doesn't mean you haven't made mistakes or hurt people in your life, but it means that you are here for that purpose, where since you have a powerful energy coming from your heart, you have done a lot of the shadow work. You're not projecting your thoughts, your unhealed traumas into the world. You're more self-aware and balanced in that way, because a lot of people just dump their traumas and project things onto other people, like their own traumas, their own anger, their own judgment. They're looking to find, sports stars, politicians, these people on the social media screen, I'm projecting, my unlived life onto them, or my childhood wounds, or they're triggering me. So what I want to say is that as a clear mirror, you have to get used to being perhaps like the outsider, or people kind of want you when it's convenient, but when it's, say family members or long-term friends, like I find I've had a lot of these isolated periods in the dark where I'm going through intense shifts, even there's intense shifts going on in the world, and people isolate you, like you don't hear from them too much, because you appear as this kind of mysterious foreign figure that's always shaking things up. You're always diving right in. You're always, potentially living more loudly in the world, because you want to learn interpersonally and interrelationally. So, and that is part of our purpose. So you might suffer from a lack of feedback. You might suffer You might even suffer from a lack of feedback and feel isolated because you feel like you're trying to go deep, you're trying to be vulnerable, trying to find out your own traumas, your own issues, you're working out all types of stuff, inner child wounds, karmic stuff, past life stuff, whatever it is, these deeply rooted traumas. And you're looking to go deep, like you're suffering, you're battling every day, you're dealing with this heart pain. It's really hard because a lot of people will tap out on you. They'll make you the villain. They will isolate you. I've experienced this in friendships and romantic relationships. Really, a lot of times people are processing themselves through you. Now, that can be through social media with people you don't even know that are watching on social media, or it can be in these interpersonal relationships. And if people get freaked out with the reflection they see and they don't want to be accountable to their issues or faults, then it's like there's nowhere to go from here because they're not willing to have an open heart and stand in the pocket like a football quarterback standing in the pocket as these linemen are trying to crush him. They don't have the composure to stay in the pocket, to have patience, because a lot of people will just fold. They'll just fold and give up, and they say, I don't want to go to these places with you. And I've learned to take it all more lightly. Like I basically realize I've learned to not have such expectations and to place myself in such like, to realize I'm not that important. Like, don't overinflate my importance in people's lives. And I've realized to a certain degree the conditional and transactional love in this world. And I've also reached more peace with my mission, because it is really hard and really painful when you feel like you get close with people, then they drop you, or they reject you, or they judge you, or talk behind your back, or something like this, where I'm feeling more like really the boogeyman, because you're holding this this energy of anger and sadness and being open with it, and you've healed those wounds. You're an open book in that way. I'm not perfectly healed, of course, but like, you have this energy where you're embodied and more balanced in dark and light. You're not pretending all the time. We're not doing the performative tap dance and the puppet smiles that a lot of this culture is. So that's triggering to people. So you will make them more aware in a felt sense of their own darkness and their own unhealed traumas, like things lingering in the basement, skeletons in the closet, things they don't want to face in themselves. So that's why people will have often randomly just not like you at all, be totally repelled. Some people will have like this moths to a flame effect, like they're very enamored with you, or they admire you, or they see you as this shiny new object, or, oh, you're so emotionally intelligent, or you're so like deep, or have this emotional sensitivity, But then when they're, getting in closer to you, more intimate with you, and they are triggered, the first thing they do is, lash out or call you names or discard you or say, I can't handle this, or this is your problem, or you have issues. Or instead of saying, hey, we're going to stand in the pocket, we're going to stand in this relationship and work this out, and realize that heart pain and hurts and people getting hurt is inevitable, because there's miscommunication, there's assumptions, there's traumas, there's pre-existing things, and we have to really have the commitment to love each other so much that we're going to work through that, no matter what it is. If we truly love each other, so it can be really painful, but I've realized I'm on this track of just seeing that the people that are meant for me will find me. And it's been a lot of, honestly, like, you have to like accept that putting yourself out there, going for what you really want, broadcasting your authentic, real frequency in the world, is in one sense very alienating and you experience a lot more rejection because the people that are not for you will be repelled or intimidated or jealous or whatever it is, or just judging you, because you're like, hey, I have a stance, I have feelings, I am here to make a statement. And then on the other hand, there's the people that will come towards you, that will be like, hey, oh, you're speaking my language, like I thought there was no one else, like we're bonding over this feeling of this loneliness or this heart feeling or this sensitivity. Thank you for speaking these words that I've had in me, but I never had the language for them, and I felt so lonely and isolated. And that's why I do encourage people to speak up. You know, you deserve to be seen, you deserve to be felt, you deserve to be in the arena, on the playing field, to at least give people a chance to know you, give them a chance. Yeah, you'll experience rejection in this world. Yeah, people are nasty in this world. They will judge and nitpick, and the peanut gallery always has something to say. But when you can fight through that, like the feeling of connecting with people on an authentic, real level is just so priceless and invaluable. And, you know, when I hear from people that connect with the things I put out on this podcast and Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it really warms my heart, and it reminds me that, okay, every day I wake up, I don't know my exact purpose, but I know I can go out there and impact people in some way, shape, or form, and I'm figuring it out and getting closer to it every day. So what you have to be careful with is, if you are one of these clear mirrors, is you have to make sure that you, and maybe you've already experienced this a lot in your relationships, you have to make sure that you're not like becoming the rock or the stabilizer or this strong, grounded one that's always the shoulder to cry on, always the one that they're coming to process through, always the one that they're coming to feel that, you know, safe, grounded, loving, open-hearted energy. And then if they're unconsciously taking too much from you or siphoning you, you're not getting it back. You're not getting that safe sanctuary or getting that person who can hold space for you in return. You're eventually going to feel very drained. You're eventually going to feel very taken advantage of. And I find that in this world, a lot of people just simply do not have the emotional vocabulary or even the emotional tools or understanding to know what I'm really talking about when I talk about being present with your heart, using the currency of heart presence, holding space. Holding space is a skill and a practiced art in itself. It's not about fixing someone. It's not about giving them a pep talk and telling them everything's going to be okay and you'll be fine and you're going to get over it, or, oh, that person was terrible for you, you're going to find someone so much better. Like these kind of competitive things of like winning and losing. It's more about saying, hey, I see your feelings, I see your heart, they're real and they're okay to have them, and I'm here because I'm your friend or I'm your family member, and I love you, and I'm here for you anytime, and I know you're going to get through this. It's not going to be perfect, it might be ugly, but you know what? Your feelings are valid. What happened to you was really painful. I know how much you loved her. I know how much you tried. I know how much you felt slighted or hurt. It's just really validating someone's feelings and saying, hey, you're allowed to feel that. That's totally fine. And I'm here for you. I'm still your friend no matter what. I don't need you to perform for me. I don't need you to be in the tap dance. I don't need you to be winning at life all the time and perfectly happy and triumphant and polished, because you're my friend and I value your heart. And I know this is going to make you better. I know sometimes you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I see you. I know you're a great person. You're my friend, and you deserve happiness. You deserve to heal. So that just was a little sidebar, but basically some of what I've been saying is it is a hard path. So the clear mirror thing is just very, I honestly, and I'm back home in New York visiting family right now, and I realize I'm closing out a lot of loops after 5.5 years in Sedona. That was really hard for me, really hard for me to go across the country, didn't know anyone, just moved there alone. I knew I needed to be there. I was magnetized to that place, and that land is very special, Sedona. It's almost the other side of the country, but I realized that I'm making peace in the sense that my family members, my siblings, my parents, I may never have like these deep, emotionally and spiritually kind of attuned conversations in the way that they see every little thing, XYZ, every little detail. But the important thing is I'm finding closure in my heart, and that my family, although we had to go through painful things together, they had things to teach me, I had things to teach them. They are aspects of God just as I am aspects of God. Everyone's on a different level spiritually, whatever they're doing in this lifetime. But there's no hierarchy. Like, all is as it should be. It's just a feeling of peace. It's just a feeling of like, maybe you had that feeling in your family where you always felt isolated. You always felt like there was this invisible glass wall between you and everyone in your family. And there's this pain and this yearning and this longing for them to see you and just connect with you emotionally, connect with your heart. So I'm realizing it's all okay. Like, so I'm realizing it's all okay. Like, I had to make peace with them and make peace with my path, make peace with the fact that my family really was doing the best that they could. They were carrying pain, they were carrying issues, and a lot of it they would dump on me, and I always felt targeted, and I don't think they really knew that. I was just this weird anomaly and stuck out like a sore thumb, and so a lot of things got directed at me in terms of scapegoating and all that. But I know my parents, made so many sacrifices in their life, to provide for me, to protect me, to be there for me when I was going through rough times, or to help me out of really bad situations that I got myself into. They were always there for me, and I think my parents really taught me a lot, like more technical skills and street smarts and like practical things in the world, because I was very much always kind of head in the clouds, like more one foot in the spirit world, one foot here, kind of being that conduit and playing that role in this world, where I need a lot of isolation, a lot of alone time in nature. So when you come into an understanding of yourself and realize you're really not meant for everyone, and you even get used to a certain distance, I know it sounds kind of sad, but it's not in a way. It's like you just realize who's worth your energy, time and energy, and who's not worth your time and energy. Like, it's not like I'm going and giving these deep monologues to everyone, and going deep with everyone, because I know not many people want to do that or can hold space for it or really care or appreciate it. It's just a very shallow world in that way. But I do have faith that those people exist, and I'm continuing to align with them and soul family, and I have that faith for you too, because it can be so lonely when you're going through these dark night of the souls and transforming and activating your multidimensionality and expanding in your heart and your soul, kind of interfacing with eternity, because I really think spiritual awakening is more like preparing for death in a way. You're accessing the eternal part of you, realizing that we are eternal beings, and that the flesh suit and the flesh rental is just temporary. It's a lot, though. It can be depressing at the same time when you're realizing all this love, all this pain, in this world that forces you to fit it in a box. And you don't want to. You don't want to be like some mannequin or some scarecrow. You want to like express your full soul. You want to have people that hear you and see you. So I accept the distance in the sense that I just realize a lot of people aren't ready, or they need to take me in doses, or, they can watch me online or whatever. But yeah, back to that point before where I feel like the boogeyman, but I also feel like authenticity in this world can also feel like being like a dancing circus animal, um, or a scarecrow, or like a dartboard for people's projections. Because I've realized more and more when people do that thing where they lash out, or they give up on you, or they just dump all your anger on you, or just block you out, which is so painful and dehumanizing, especially when it's from someone you love, or a good friend, where they just isolate you. They don't even want to let you have the chance to speak and verbalize what you feel, because they're just like, oh, I'm at my limit. I'm at my max. You're done. Get out of my reality. You're inconvenient. I'll find other people to tap dance and be my friend, and I don't need this annoyance of your depth. You're such a nuisance. Get away from me. You're causing me to feel pain in my heart. When you're really, you want to go deep, you want to expand, you want to face traumas, grow. A lot of people don't really want real growth in that way. And it's not like it's not like I'm purposely trying to be like that, like be oppositional and difficult and say, hey, I see you and I see all your traumas and you better heal. I'm not like being purposely difficult. I'm pretty easygoing as a person, you know? I think it's more in those intimate relationships when it's like, hey, we have to have an agreement where it's like reciprocal. We both realize the intensity and what we're bringing to the table. We respect this. We have, ground rules. We have like an implicit understanding of the reciprocity. Like, that's a really big deal, to open your heart and soul and your temple to someone. And I've learned to be a lot more discerning about that in my life. But, you do get your heart broken. You can't see certain things. You get blindsided. It happens, and you learn. Go back to the drawing board. But that feeling, I try to let it go. Sometimes it really annoys me that certain people will only ever see you through the lens of judgment. Like I said, they see you as a dancing circus animal, or like the boogeyman, because you're talking about these scary, mysterious things that they don't understand. And they might be intrigued by you, that you reside in deep waters, or just your energy. Your energy is intriguing to them. It's like scary or intimidating, but also magnetizing. So it's like moths to a flame. So that's why you might be more polarizing. People might hate you and love you, and like there's not that much in between. It's not like middle of the road reactions. It's a lot of more polarized stuff. So I want to say personally, for these people, I really appreciate you, because you probably don't ever hear that much. You don't ever hear that, because a lot of people only want you to conform. They only want you to be what they like. And honestly, a lot of clear mirrors and triggerers and catalyzers that take on these outsider roles, you never really hear it from a lot of people. They may be too prideful to ever admit that you had a huge impact on them because you triggered them, or they made you into the villain or the bad guy. You have to kind of embrace the role of being the villain. That's the weird thing, this clear mirror thing, this catalyzer. I think of it like a shadow warrior. You're like a dark worker. You catalyze by constantly transmuting this negative, dark energy in the collective consciousness that most people repress, or they just don't even have the first clue of what it actually is. They don't even have a clue to how to name it, because they are so deeply brainwashed with the programming of, I'm a good, happy boy. I'm a likey-like boy. I'm a happy boy. And they're just pretending and repressing. It's all they've ever known. So of course they're going to seek out people that are pretending and repressing too, and be repulsed by, maybe your last partner, that was the first person they ever encountered that was truly authentic, or that had even the first idea of an understanding of emotional worlds, heart worlds, the inner heavens, the inner hells, all the complexities of healing and inner death, inner rebirth, all these concepts that a lot of people don't have the first clue about. Because you're like, an expert at this. You kind of came in as a child. You might have felt like you raised your parents. You had to raise them emotionally because they didn't have a clue about this. You were like fluent in all this stuff at like 6 years old. And that's why it's such an upside down world, because you were probably treated as if you were crazy or you had issues. Because typically those souls are so sensitive that the world is just very overwhelming. And then the parents or the surrounding family project or scapegoat or dump all the crap on that child. And then the child's got all types of issues because they've been told they're crazy since the age of 6. And that takes a lot to deprogram too. That I thought I was this just defective, weird, bad person my whole life. I thought I was screwed up and there was something wrong with my chemistry and my brain and my body, and I'm just a weirdo and I'm destined to be this freak and I'll never fit in. I'll never have healthy friendships and relationships. I'm such a bad weirdo. I beat myself up worse than anyone ever could, and I'm still recovering from that damage and recouping and loving myself, and that takes a lot of courage. But as a clear mirror, you just have to get used to, even as you develop, because people come in and out, you have to get used to realizing that there's not going to be many people that can stick with you for the long haul. That's why you pop in and out of those friendships or relationships, because you have that kind of transformative, transmuting, shamanic type of energy, more of a shamanic type of path, which is taking the negative and turning it into positive, truly healing. Not just tap dancing your whole life and saying, oh, I'm happy because I have a great career and I have 2 kids and I have a beautiful wife and I'm happy and we just do hobbies and that's it. No, you need that rich inner world. You have that hunger for that inner world, that deep divine connection with another soul, where you have, there's 3 dance partners. There's you, the divine, and that other soul. And you guys are obviously aspects of the divine, you're aspects of God. But you create a unique, organism or entity between the 2 of you, which is this magical love. And then God's love and the divine love can both flow through you more. And I've been struggling on that, and I know, you have to hold out. Talk to a lot of people about this, and the feedback I get from this podcast, from videos, talking about finding a healthy partner, working through issues. You kind of have to get used to having very high standards. You just do. You're not blocking out the world. You're not giving up faith. But you develop that discernment because if you've experienced enough pain in the world and enough pain from the relationships that were not right for you, you're going to have this understanding that, hey, now I'm starting to better understand my worth. I understand the sacredness in my heart. I understand the preciousness in my heart. And I do have kind of not elitist, but just super selective. And you don't need people around you to tell you that, because a lot of people lack emotional intelligence and spiritual depth anyway. So there may not even be that many people around you in the world that truly even see you, because they only think in terms of competition and hierarchy and money and superficial, vain, shallow things. So, but you're the one that has to have the faith, because inside your own soul, who you are, the value you bring to the table. So I appreciate those trailblazers, those glitches, those people that are willing to speak outside of the militant positivity program and shake things up. That's what we're here for. And I've developed an understanding, even on social media. There's people that they love you today, they hate you tomorrow. They like when you're doing what they want you to do. They like when you're helping them process things through themselves, and then when it switches up and you're like, all right, we're exploring a different pocket of this, and they just switch up so fast, and you realize in those moments, I've been so heartbroken over so many times of that happening, where I'm like, wait, I'm learning to stop projecting my inner world and my values and my behaviors, because I feel like I'm a very patient and forgiving person. I'm not perfect. I have a lot of my own issues. Have a lot of codependency issues, have a lot of issues with just trust and letting someone in, and it's really hard for me. And yeah, I can be a bit possessive, I can be a bit like clingy or needy for sure. And I've been trying to work on that because I think I make my partner my whole world often. That's what's happened with me, because there's not that many people that I let in, and I'm working on that, of course. But if your heart's hurting and you've lost friendships, you've lost relationships, and maybe you're estranged from your family, you feel like the world's beating you down, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep moving. Go for your runs, go for your lifts, go for your cold plunge, go for your, walk in the woods or in nature. Force yourself, put yourself out to meet that person for coffee. Just keep moving, okay? Can't promise that the pain in your heart's going to go away today, tomorrow, next month, next year. But I can just say, keep moving and keep having faith, because I struggle with it every day. I have faith that those people that need to hear you and see you will. Might take a long time because it's a weird stage in the world right now. People are being nasty, people are lashing out, but you deserve to be out on that playing field. You deserve to be seen. I don't care who you are. You're an aspect of God. Your voice deserves to be heard, and it's worth the risk to be rejected wherever you are, whether it's on social media, in real life, whatever you're doing. People have become a lot more isolated in today's world, so allow yourself to at least be in the game and find those people. Let people love you. Let people appreciate you. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't think you need to be so perfect and have it all together, because none of us do. All right? Hope you have a great day, great night. Thanks again for joining me. And last thing, hear the birds in the back there. My new book, Breaking Generational Curses in Your Bloodline, The Black Sheep's Guide to Liberation, is out now. It's on Amazon. The link's in my profile. And also, you can also buy it in audiobook. I recently made that because a friend said that would be great to hear it in my voice, if you're walking, running, on a car trip. So that's about 1 hour and 7 minutes, the audiobook, so you can buy that one too if you like, however you want to listen to it. Yeah, so thanks for joining me. Catch you later.